we'll be doing it this way today. So for today, we're going to be making a tree topper bow. So I don't know how everyone else's sales have been, but mine, UPS must be here. Mine this quarter were like off. Like it, I would say that I didn't sell as many wreaths as I had thought or hoped. But I sold a lot of bows. And there's actually like a really big markup with the bows. So the bow that we're gonna be making right now, I'm charging $72 on Etsy for it, and I've sold like 6 of them. So it's definitely like something worth doing. I mean, I also have a bunch that have not sold, so we'll see how that goes, if I'm gonna be hung with a whole bunch of bows till next season, but I can always undo them and just put them back on the roll. But yeah, this has been really popular. I think the whole pink theme is popular, the blush theme, because this is the 3rd one I've made this week. So, all right. I think I can say Scarlett. Scarlett, how you doing? And Penny, happy birthday, Scarlett. Scarlett. All right, so we're gonna just be doing this on the Easy Bow Maker, because when it comes to like these super thick ribbons, like I struggle to like hold things in place. Okay, so we want some really nice long tails. So the tails on this are gonna be around 3 feet. Okay, so I'm gonna take my ribbon, I'm gonna slide it through the dowel, and then I'm gonna make sure that the pretty side of the ribbon is facing up. And then when I slide it through the dowel, I'm gonna put the pretty side facing down, okay? So when I put it through, I'm gonna give it a nice crisp twist, because that's kind of like what seals off our loops to keep them like nice and structured. Okay, so you can see now this has been fed through. And for this one, I've been doing a recipe of 6 inch loops. Hello. 5 inch loops, 6 5-inch loops, and then 6. Oh my God, this is like math for me. We're doing sets of 6 in 6-inch, 5-inch, 4-inch, and then the center one. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my ribbon, I'm gonna slide it through, and is it Ishika? Nice to see you. All right, and so as I'm putting this through, I'm just gonna repeat, okay? So I'm gonna take my ribbon, I'm gonna twist it, and measure out 6 inches. Bruno. Bruno, come here. If you want to see my puppy, who just knocked the light over, this is Bruno. 8 months, 80 pounds. Come on. This is like the second thing he's... You're really too big to be up there, Bruno, but okay. I can't say no to you. Yeah, so if you've seen Bruno from the beginning, don't do it again. Good enough. Bruno was a teeny tiny baby, and he just keeps growing and growing. Don't touch the product. We know better. Huh? Yeah? He is a beast, but he's just a big baby. He's just a big baby. Huh. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're good? All right. Oof. I need insurance for this pup. Damage. Okay. Sorry. I'll get focused again. Anyways. Okay. So we're going to be making a total of 19 loops. So I'm going to put this down on my Easy Bow Maker. Measure to 6 inches, and then I'm going to slide it back through the dowel, and I'm just going to like continue doing this. And I like to drop the ribbon because this is like glitter season. Usually I drop my ribbon just on the floor, but you know, if you're using something that doesn't have glitter in it and you drop it on the floor, it's gonna end up with glitter. So I'm just gonna drop it in the box that I'm gonna ship it in. And that way we don't have to keep worrying about it, you know, flipping around. All right. So anyways, what I was saying about sales, because I know that there are some people, that, you know, things don't always go the way we think that they're going to go, you know, and like sometimes they think I definitely know what like a trend is going to be and then it's not and all that stuff. And I have to say that I kind of I got hit with some like imposter syndrome this season. It hit me November 8th and it kind of lingered for a while. And so a couple things that I did to like rectify it. One is stop looking, like stop, just because someone else says that they have sales doesn't mean that, you know, oh my God, you suck and your stuff sucks. So everyone has their moments to shine. And I think the best thing we can do is like, if something gets to just start not feeling good, like I felt like I was like trying to force doing these designs, take a break from it, like walk away from it. And I have like this meditation book that I read and like every day, you know, it's by the date. And I went and looked at November 8th and sure enough, it said like basically if you're feeling like overwhelmed by something, just like leave it and go do something else. And sometimes it can even be, you know, doing a different like craft, like something that just feels good to you instead of trying to like force something that's just not working. So I am officially out of my funk and excited for what 2025 has in store. So for all my fellow, you know, small biz owners, I like to always do something like at the end of each month where I analyze my finances and then I compare them to last year. So it's like, okay, what worked, what didn't work, you know, just so I can kind of analyze what direction I should be going in. And now that it's getting towards the end of the year, I'm doing that like on a macro scale of like really like what was it that was really successful this year. And come to find out that like more than half my sales were workshops or in-person workshops. So I'm like, okay, so there's a lot to take from that. And there's a lot that I'm going to make some changes for 2025 because I really enjoy doing them. I love teaching people. I love when people come in and they're like, oh, I hope you have patience because I'm terrible. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I promise you, you're going to be great. And they leave so happy. It just makes me happy. You know, like I had a workshop this week and there was just a group of lovely ladies and they were like, there's no way we're leaving with a good wreath. And I'm like, I won't let that happen. So when I do my in-person workshops, I do offer like a little bit of zhuzhing. So if somebody is like, they feel like something is off or they're struggling with something, like I'm just there to help them. Like you pay good money. You know, workshops are usually like somewhere in the 90s, like mid 90s for price. And if I went to something and paid like $96 and left with something that I was going to just throw in the trash, like I wouldn't go again. So I like to help people out. And I love when people go to multiple workshops because they kind of start to see the recipe. Like, and if you guys have been with me, you know, like there's just certain recipes I have for my crescent wreaths. And even though the materials are different from season to season, like the structure of them is actually very similar. And it's easy to follow, it's easy to teach. And so, yeah, I had someone the other day, it was her 4th workshop with me. Like I forgot we had done like, she had asked me to do a 4th of July workshop. So we did that. So she is like, I'm like, she's a ringer at this point. I'm like, you got to stop. You're going to get too good on me. But it's just something that I really enjoy doing. So anyways, the long and the short of that, the purpose of me saying that was it's a nice time to kind of assess what went well and then like what no longer serves you. Like, so there are certain things that, you know, I'm just going to simplify in my business so that I'm focusing on doing the things that are going to make my business successful, things that make me happy, things that don't leave me feeling like overwhelmed. So if you're a member of this channel, or like if you're in the membership group, there are going to be changes for the new year. But I'm trying to like kind of like get that together a little bit more before. I want to get it a little more polished before I kind of talk to you guys about it. But hopefully it'll be things that, you know, you guys will like. We shall see. But, you know, obviously we can all make changes at any point in the year, but there is something about having a fresh year, like a clean slate to make your business grow. So I know that there have been people feeling discouraged. I was in that. I mean, it happens to everybody. I think anybody who says that it never happens, I was always taught like never use polarizing language, like never and always. My former boss, I used to drive her nuts if I said that. So, but yeah, everyone's gonna have their time to shine. So even if there were some things that didn't go as well as you'd like definitely stick with it and do what feels good to you. Because for me, if I am doing something I love, I'm usually like singing and dancing. I'm like having a good time. Like it does not feel like work to me whatsoever. But when I was in like that imposter syndrome thing, I was like, oh, like I just don't even know where to start. Like looking at like a pile of supplies and just being like, I have no idea what to make. No one's gonna like it. You go down this like rabbit hole and you've done it to yourself. So, you know, if you aren't feeling great, I hope that you take a little space, a little break, and just like assess all the things that have gone well. I'm in a coaching group with Lauren Kilgore and Erin Montgomery, and Erin has given me homework that I'm going to write out like 25 accomplishments for 2024. And I think that's awesome. Like when I mentor people, like I always like try and keep tabs on like their milestones. Like if you're a new Etsy shop and you made your first 10 sales or you've cleared $1,000 in sales, like if we just skip those things and keep going without actually like celebrating and reflecting them, it becomes like draining. It feels like work. And that's the last thing we want to do. We want to do something that we love. That's why we're all doing this, right? So you might also want the same homework where you write down 25 things that went well. And thinking back, I mean, the year flew by, but a lot has happened in a year. So if you have opened your Etsy shop, you've, you know, filed your company name, you got yourself out there, you put a video up on social media, like all of those things are huge wins. Like they're all signs of growth, and they're all things that probably seemed super scary at one point, and now it's just like something you do. Like it's just part of who you are and what you do. All right, so I was a little on my soapbox there and not counting, but so I did 6 6-inch loops, 6 5-inch loops, 6 4-inch loops, and let me see how much we have. Oh, I can do a bunch of tails with all this. There's a lot here. This brand has served me well this season, I will say. I've been really happy with their products. All right. You have snow, Brenda? Oh my goodness. We had like a little bit earlier in the week, but how much snow do you have? Do you have like snow? Because ours disappeared pretty quick. But this week it was like raining and raw. I had to do, when I did a workshop, I had to like schlep in the pouring rain, and it's like just me, and it's like I have all my Hulkin bags, and, you know, you're bringing in a dozen wreaths at a time. It was a mess. I was a wet, cold mess. All right, so I'm going to cut this tail here, and now we're going to make the buttons. So I'm going to take my new tail, I'm going to start it the same way, starting it off on, it's my right. Put the tail down. And then I make the button, which is just that like center. I like that like center, like juicy loop. It's usually like about 3 inches. Okay, and then, oh, no, you know what I want to do? Because I like when the tails are going on the right sides, like not, sometimes when you do a button, you just have that one tail. So I'm going to do 3-inch loops, I think. Or I'll do 2. That's what we'll do. So it says 20 loops. All right, and then I'm going to cut the tail. And then with the leftover fabric, I'm going to end up making one more tail, and I'm going to put it in the back, hopefully without letting everything go. So once you have everything on, and this is why I use an easy bow maker, because my hands would be like dying at this point. There are some like super talented bow makers like Lori from TMI. I call her the iron grip because that woman can just hold like the super thick ribbon. She takes her time, she's talking, she's teaching. Like for me, I would just be dying. My hands would like want to fall off. So I like using this because it allows you to like take your time. You can rest your hands if you're like me and have like some like arthritic like tendencies, because I think I do just because I use my hands so much. So I like designing with this. It took me forever to figure out how to do this, and I was watching people and I was like look at like Ashley from Three Little Greenwoods, my wreath bestie, and she makes it look so easy. And the part that I was doing wrong was like I wasn't really like flipping all the material, like so it was like nice and structured. And so what would happen is like the center of this would be like way too thick and it'd just be like a mess. So, you know, it's one of those things you just got to kind of practice, and at some point things are gonna like click. So. Brenda has deep snow. Black Friday. You got 4 feet? Big snowflakes coming down. Oh, I hope you like make yourself some hot cocoa, Brenda. Get by the fireplace. Oh my goodness. I'm just not ready for it. I mean, like, New England, you have no control. Like we had years and years ago, we had Halloween canceled because we had a blizzard. So I mean, it's crazy. Last year was really mild, and so far it has been okay. All right, so I'm going to slip these off of the dowels now, and I'm going to get this tail in the back. So when you're taking it off the dowel, and I'm going to get my zip tie ready, okay? So I'm going to use a white zip tie just so it's not really noticeable. So when you take it off the dowel, you want, I knew what you meant. You know what? I'm going to put this underneath it because I just feel like I'm going to lose control if I try and get this on the back. All right. And I love the snow like when you don't have to go anywhere. So it's like, it's so beautiful to look at. And if you're past the point, like, I mean, I love being a mom to a young child, but oh my gosh, like when you have to go out in the snow with them, it is cold, 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 cold. That is a serious act of love when you go out in the snow with your kid. All right. And that is not going to work, so I'm just going to try and get this on. All right, so I'm going to slide this off the dowel, and I'm going to hold it nice and snug. I'm putting my thumb up top, and then I'm using, let's see, I'm going to slip this right here, and then I'm going to take my zip tie, and I'm going to make sure that it's going right over where this ribbon is dented from the dowel, because that tells me where the halfway point is. And you can use floral wire, you can use chenille stems. I like the zip tie because I feel like it grips everything better. And I also think it kind of is easier for you to secure. So once you have that on, you're going to make the zip tie nice and tight. I love, like, for my winter workshops, we use zip ties on, like, everything, and almost every workshop, I think there's been, like, 2 where it didn't happen, but, people work on, like, easels, and every time somebody zip ties their wreath onto their easel, and it just kills me. I think it's the funniest thing. All right, so I'm just dovetailing these. So I'm just taking my tail, I'm folding it in half, and then I'm cutting up towards the fold. Okay, and this is just like a cute way, like if you're doing like your Christmas gifts too, to just put like a little polish on them. I was looking up how to spike hot chocolate the other day. So there is something, and it's like big in, I think like France, and it's called chartreuse, and like it's called like green cocoa or something, and it's supposed to be like really, really good. It's like a European thing, and I want to get my hands on a bottle of that because I was like, hot chocolate is good, but a little booze in it could be better. And I got stuff to make an eggnog martini. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. I have all of the stuff. So I've got like vanilla vodka. I got amaretto. Then you have the eggnog. And I think it's going to be delicious. So I will keep you posted on that. And if you're on my mailing list, I put the recipe in. Enough about wreaths. Let's talk about martinis. Creme de menthe. Yes. I was also thinking like Godiva liqueur would be good. But I'm very intrigued by this like chartreuse thing because I don't really understand what the taste is, but it's like an experience. All right. So right now we have kind of like just a floppy hot mess. So we're going to go through and we are going to fluff up all of our loops. And this is why we use our wired ribbon, because it gives it structure and it holds. And yep, so I finally like finished all of my Christmas decorating, and I got an order for like one of those monogrammed wreaths, the ones that I say keep the lights on, and I ended up having to go into like my spring stash, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I can't wait for spring. I can't wait to like design for spring. I'm gonna enjoy like Christmas in my home, obviously, but I'm excited to see like what is gonna come out of spring designs, because I always love color and texture, and there's just something about like the energy that time of year. And I also decided like if I didn't think something was going to sell this year, I just went and returned it. And not never, but I pretty much don't do that. But like I had gone to Michael's at the beginning of the season, and their stuff was really just like meh this year. But I was like, I wanted something because, you know, Pioneer I love, but they don't really do winter things. I got some awesome things from TMI too, but I was just like, I just kind of wanted like that instant gratification of like shopping. And I was like, I never used any of it. So I finally like went and brought it all back, and it was like $400 back on my card. I'm like, why on earth would I have kept something? So if you overbought on something and it's just not serving you, I would say take the time to return. Same thing, like I ordered a ridiculous amount of ribbon from Amazon, and if things didn't get used, I'm just bringing them right back. So this ribbon was actually supposed to come tomorrow, so I thought I was going to get this out late. If you have an Etsy shop and you are going for like the star seller, one of the criteria, so the criteria is you ship out on time, and it has to be like, I don't know, 95% ship out on time. You ship on time, you have good reviews, Showtime, good reviews. I guess sales. I don't know. I think that maybe is the third one. So if you are going to be late, you can either, one, adjust what the shipping date is, or you can go ahead and print it out. So this was supposed to go out today, and I didn't think it was going to go out till Monday, but I went and printed off the label anyways, and that way Etsy doesn't ding me with the star seller. Again, you'd have to have like several things go out late, but it's just like a little way to work around it. Etsy's got lots of rules, lots of expectations of us. So, and people love seeing that little star seller. It's just like an extra selling point that you're a trustworthy seller. I don't know what I did to this loop. That's what I got. I got stuff for, I never drink hard alcohol, but I got stuff to make an espresso martini, and I wanted to make a creamy one, so I got Bailey's has their own like espresso version. So I have that too. I bought all that stuff last week, and I was like dying to get it, and then I never made a single thing. I have to get on it. I have to meet my winter drinking goals. And I just found out there's a martini bar opening up like literally like 3 miles away. I was like, oh, that ain't too bad, New Hampshire. Not too bad. Okay. All right, and then when I go to ship this, I am going to grab, oh, actually, I'll go grab it now. I'm going to grab some tissue paper, and I'll show you how I ship these out. So I always like to stuff all the loops, because that way when somebody opens up their order, the bow looks like what you sold them. And it also shows them like how they can store it year after year. Bruno is on the move. Okay. All right, we're good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take tissue paper, and starting in the back, I'm going to put some in every loop. So for the larger loops, I'm going to have to put like 3 or 4 pieces. Put that right in. And repeat this a whole lot of times. So next week we're going to be doing a live on Thursday night. We're going to do the TMI Gifts Wreath Kit. There are 3 or 4 left. But even if you're not designing, you know, hop on and say hi. It's always nice to have like a little wine, a little friend chatter, and some designing. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think if you ordered the kit like today, you'll have it in time for next week. Otherwise, it'll be available for replay. But that'll probably be the last winter thing I design this year. And I'm going to pack up stuff, but this year I feel like I was much better with shopping in my own inventory, and also just like not going totally crazy. I did not step foot in a Hobby Lobby this year, and I swear that is like the key sometimes, because if you're creative, you get carried away with all sorts of projects without thinking about when you're gonna have time to like do them. So like I have reindeer floating around here, I have sleigh bells, I have so many things, and I'm like, oof, too many things, not enough time to do them. So now, is anybody like working on something as you're tuning in here? Do I have any wreath makers or people who just love to do like DIY and things with their hands? I'm always like fascinated by like what other people can do and how like easy people make things look. Like when I see people who do carpentry, I think that's like insane. I think it's insanely hard. I don't know how people do it, but I know it's just one of those things that like, if it's your gift, it just flows. So. Oh, and you know what I want to do before? I wish I had like pink. I like to try and have chenille stems that match. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tie these two together, and I'm just gonna slide this over where the zip tie is. It's not gonna show, but I like for things to be coordinated, but it's not gonna happen here. Okay, and then, hey Caroline, how are you? And then I'm just gonna twist this off, and that way, and leave the tails long. And that way someone can just take this and just put it right up on their tree. And I can't wait to show you guys, but so Emily, my favorite Real Housewife from Orange County, I made her a tree topper. She has like this 12-foot tall tree. It's gorgeous. All the decorations, I think, are like from Front Gate. It's beautiful. She did like the antique-y blue, what does she call it? Antique blue, like a farmhouse blue. Kind of like that dusty blue. So I found really pretty ribbon. It was also from Ribley, but it was kind of like satiny looking. And I can't wait. And then she ordered some bows for her mantle. So they look like mine, but I made hers like fancier because, you know, her mantle's fancier. But yeah, I can't wait to see it and share those with you guys. She is my fave. Hey, Nessa. How are you in Ireland? My daughter is going to Ireland for 4 months in January. I'm gonna miss her 21st birthday. But yeah, so let me think. What part of Ireland is she? She's flying into Shannon. Are you near Shannon? Yay! I love that, Caroline. Love it. 'Tis the season to be merry, right? One of our group members, so like we have our membership group here, Janae did, and if you're re-watching this, hi Janae, she did the cutest thing. She had like some older neighbors and they love the Grinch, and so she made them like a beautiful like wreath with the Grinch on it. There was like little jingle bells on the door. She got them a Grinch doormat, and like I was watching it and I like started tearing up because I'm like, for someone to like be so thoughtful is just really what the season's about. Like, it's kind of not, it bums me out how calculated everything is, you know, like you get lists of exactly what people want, and I don't know. For me, like what I love about Christmas is like that feeling as a kid of like everything's a surprise. So she gave them one heck of a surprise and they were so happy. That might be UPS. You're in Wicklow. All right. Geography is not my strong suit, so I'll have to check it out and see where that is. I was so hoping to beat UPS and get this out, but we shall see. Could be Amazon. So like Bruno took out the light here, but earlier today Steve was chasing him. So like Bruno's like an 80-pound pup. I mean, so he is scared of Steve. Steve is like 18 pounds of like pure rage. He's like a Chiweenie, and he was chasing Bruno, and Bruno was like running for his life, and he ran past the table that had like a lamp plugged in. He flipped it. There was glass everywhere. And I was like, I can't even be mad at him. He's just so cute. And I blame Steve anyways. When in doubt, blame Steve. It's usually something he's doing. Everyone else is chill, and then he'll be over there like his face is like gray, and I'm like, and he's like 5 years old. I'm like, it's gray from rage. Like you need some like dog Prozac or something. Not really, but he needs to chill out. That is true. So we had guys, I kept forgetting to announce who had won the Christmas challenge, and it was Diane. So Diane and I are doing a Zoom call next Tuesday, and I can't wait because when I get to do like a Zoom call, I get to do like an Etsy shop review. I get to really do like a deep dive into what everyone else is doing, and I really love it because like the talent is just like, it blows my mind. I also did a deep dive into Tina's stuff because we were messaging the other day and I was just trying to figure out where she lived. So I went to her Etsy and then I realized like not only does she have like a beautiful Etsy shop, but she also has a direct website that's beautiful. But then I found out Tina was on a podcast. I'm listening to the podcast and I'm like, this is just such an awesome, awesome community. And you never know who you're talking like to. Like you never know like what their backstory is, what they love to do. Like I knew she was talented, but like I didn't know all the stuff she has going on. And my husband walked in when I was listening to it, and he's like, "Oh, who's that? That person's from Boston." I'm like, "Actually, she is from Boston." So I am telling Tina I want to see her on YouTube. I want to see videos. I want to see her talking to people because she's just so like lovable, and I know that other people are gonna love to like learn from her and see what she's doing. So if you're somebody who's also been on the fence about like putting yourself out there, I say go for it. Like what's the worst thing that's gonna happen really? Like what's the worst? All right, so right now she looks like when my mom used to wear like curlers in her hair. I know, Sharon, I do too. All right, so now I'm going to take this. I am going to fold up the tails. Try and stack them nice and neat. So yeah, so I feel like people need to share more of their stuff like on our Facebook page. I mean, things are going to be changing, so I don't know if that's probably going to change too, but in general, like, I want to see what everyone's doing. I think when we keep things to ourselves, like we keep our gifts to ourselves, like, it's kind of like, what a waste, right? Like, you were given something, like I was saying, like people who do carpentry. Like, if you're given something, a gift that other people don't possess, don't, like, keep it to yourself. Like share it with other people, and it encourages other people to do the same. As you ladies know, like everyone in our group is just like the nicest. They're the nicest people. They give the best resources. They share things. They don't gatekeep. None of that. Like nothing needs to be policed because everyone is just so darn delightful. All right, so I'm just rolling up my tails like so. And I didn't bring a sometimes I put a chenille stem on it, but that's okay. All right. So we'll get this ready to go. Put some pretty tissue paper in the bottom. Slip our bow in. So yep, we used up all 10 yards. It's gonna be nice and full on someone's tree. And then I like to put a pretty piece of tissue paper on top. I like to change that season to season. And then I have my business card. And then I also put in a care tip card. So if you're somebody who sells, I think it's like nice to include a little bit about like either yourself or about your product. So on my care card, it talks about like how to care for like artificial florals using like the UV spray. You know, I like to use a hair dryer to get the dust off and then store it in clear bags, like things like that. And then I also ask for people to consider leaving a review. So, you know, people are great at supporting small businesses, but we have to remember to ask because sometimes we don't always remember. And then I like to give a card. Card that has an envelope that matches. Here we go. All right, so this bow is going to Miss Kim. And then inside the card, it just says that I thank them for shopping small and I hope they love their custom piece because everything that we're doing is custom. So, a bulldog wreath? That's so cool. Is that, so it must be like a sports related thing? Awesome. I hope you're going to share it with us. Brenda, when you store your wreath, you roll the bow tails up on top. On cardboard tube along with stuff. Oh, onto TP card. Yeah. I mean, whatever's going to keep its form, right? I like to keep mine, I like to stuff my bows with tissue paper as well, just to kind of keep it like looking like nice and fresh. So this is all ready to go. I ship mine in 8x8 boxes. So even though this bow is at least it's about 12 to 14 inches wide, because it's got all of the, sorry, it's super noisy. Because it has all the tissue paper in it, it's okay to have it like smushed in there a little bit. And whenever you're shipping, like I got a shipping lesson from FedEx because they're just like the nicest people. So basically they said like you want things like shipped as snug as possible because if it can't move, it's not gonna break pretty much. So I always like to size down on my boxes. College football, all right. My husband swears that college football is like better than like the NFL. He loves watching it. All right, so let me not flash Kim's address. That probably wouldn't go over well. But all right, so I'm gonna get this upstairs in the hopes that I did not miss UPS. I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you next week. So next week we have a live designing on Thursday. I may or may not do a Friday live. We'll see, depending on how the week goes with the holiday and everything else. So I can't forget to say this. If you enjoyed this material, please like, share, and subscribe. And I feel so corny, and I just need to learn to just get that, just roll with it. I feel so salesy every time I do it. But your support is always appreciated. So I hope everybody has an awesome weekend. It was nice chatting with you, and I will see you guys later.